We are officially in the conference finals portion of the NBA.
The final four.
But before we get into that, let's touch on the Sixers and the Celtics series.
I'm here for the pettiness.
Boston beat the 76ers 112-88 on Sunday. Joel Embiid, 38 minutes, 15 points. James Harden, 41 minutes, 9 points. Doc Rivers got fired.
That was due.
Doc set a record for the most Game 7 losses in NBA history.
It shouldn't make you laugh that hard.
Breeze,
It really shouldn't make you laugh that hard.
I actually didn't know that.
You're such a bag. You're such a bag,
He's
bro.
a loser.
He's 6-10 in Game 7, and I think the stat is 17-31 in closeout games.
Good grief.
Breeze, I'm gonna give you the floor briefly.
Wow.
Did Doc deserve to be fired, or was
Are
this,
you asking him that question?
Bro, yes.
or was this
Are you?
a result based on his superstars not showing up in
It's him.
You're really asking
Schematically,
that
it was
question.
bad.
That man just asked you as the Pope Catholic.
Bro, it was all bad.
But when you think about it, when you get to a Game 7, there ain't much coaching you could do at that point.
First of all-
every team knows each other at that point.
Hold on.
Here we see.
Let's take a step
You're
back.
doing this on purpose.
Set them up.
Let's take a step back. They lost that series in Game 6. They didn't lose that series in Game 7. They could not go back to Boston for Game 7.
He done switched his voice up.
You were up. Jason Tatum couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He couldn't hit water from a boat.
Yeah.
All y'all had to do was close it out. What was it, 4 minutes? Something like that? That man was shooting putrid numbers. He was shooting like me. And y'all let this man go off, and you lost at home in Game 6, up 3-2. A chance to go to the conference finals.
Which you haven't been to in how long?
Joel Embiid is the only MVP to never go to a conference final. He's also the only one with Doc Rivers as his coach. Schematically, it was bad. Y'all watch the game? How many times did they come down, give Joel Embiid the ball in the high post, and everybody just stood around and watched him? What type of what scheme is that? What is the game plan? You've now seen this team 5 times, and the best thing you can come up with is, well, give Joel the ball and get out the way. Doc Rivers, hey, go home. Hey, go home, big dog.
So is this it for Doc Pump?
No, somebody else. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, as a coach,
Yeah.
somebody will give him another shot somewhere because
I think after 23 years and only one championship to show for it, and
Which he fluked up
Mike
on
D'Antoni
with
is
the
still
first
out
big
there.
3.
Andrew Bynum is the reason he got that one. And I'm taking that to the grave.
Mike D'Antoni
Speaking
is still
like
out
a
there
true
getting,
Laker.
getting
We beat that same team 2 years later for the chip.
there's some bottom
We
dwellers
did.
out there that'll still give Doc Rivers a shot. So at this point, actually, can I mind if I ask you guys a question?
What do you think?
At this point, what do you guys grade the process? Is it a failure?
Are we talking Joel Embiid or
No, I mean the Phillies plan, right? They tank, they get picks, and now Philly is a successful team by a certain standard, right? They're a perennial playoff team. They're always in title contention, not just a 8 seed or 7 seed, 6 seed, but many years now, at least for 3 years, they've been a contender.
Nah,
So, what do you grade the process?
I give it a C+.
Okay,
I think we all picked them to go to the conference final, I want to say. And they underachieved with the MVP. They had a Ben Simmons. They've had great teams to make a run in a weak Eastern Conference, and they've underachieved. So I would have to give them a C+, very average.
okay,
I'm actually going to give him an A-.
interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to give him an A- because we've seen a lot of teams be bad for a really long time. Charlotte's been bad for a really long time. The Pacers have been bad now for a really long time. We've seen multiple teams be bad for a really, really long time and not get even to this point.
I think you're shooting them bail though, because how do you let the Raptors win one?
You could, listen. You could go through all of that. They also, a very improbable shot by Kawhi that he couldn't do 9 more times out of 10.
Shouldn't have got to that,
which is fair. But like, look, and I hate to be that guy, but look at the Magic. The Magic have been bad since Shaq, Dwight in 2009. But like the Magic have been bad for a really long time. A lot of lottery picks, numerous top 3 picks, and they can't even get to where Philly is, where at least Philly is a perennial contender. They are. They're going to be a team that got to worry about Philly in the East. So it has been successful to make them relevant because before this, they were the Magic or they were Charlotte. And now they're a team that every year actually has a chance. And I'm also going to shoot them bail because winning championships is hard. Coming from a fan of a team that is tied for the most all time, it's hard. You have to know how to win. I think Philly to me is one of those franchises where the NBA should bring in certain like mentor and resources to say like, hey, you're really close. You need to make this change. They went and hired Daryl Morey. Horrible decision because he's going to do something like hire Doc Rivers. He'll do something like trade for James Harden. Daryl Morey has not shown anything that he can put together a winning team and staff. So they made one mistake. And in spite of that, they've gotten where they are. So they're close. They're so close. I'm going to give them an A- because at least they've gotten this.
The sad part is I think, and I was thinking about this, because of something that Herm actually hit me up about in regards to the Celtics, who we're going to talk about in a second. And he asked me about blowing up that team. And I was like, let me look at Philly. And I think that Philly made more than just one mistake. This is also the team that drafted Markelle Fultz over the man that closed them out in Game 7. Right?
They broke him.
Yeah.
They broke that man.
But also now I look at Joel Embiid and I know he's the heart of that team, but I honestly believe that you can't put him next to a guy like James Harden. I think that they should have tried some kind of way to keep Jimmy.
Oh, well, they wanted Jimmy gone. Not only were they not trying to keep Jimmy, they wanted Jimmy gone.
I hear that.
Yeah, so they made bad moves along the way. So I don't understand why you giving them an A-.
They're so close. They're one Jimmy decision away from legitimately being a final team. They're really close.
And Jimmy probably should be the leader of that team. I don't think that Joel Embiid is an actual leader of a team. I think he's extremely talented. So at that point, who's leading that team in Philly?
There is no leader.
Coach.
Joel Embiid is one of those. Who?
The coach.
Exactly. So
I beg your pardon?
Glenn Rivers.
I'm with you on the process. I give the process a C. I feel like you got Joel Embiid, but you've made so many mistakes.
And you've had all the pieces at your fingertips. It's not like they didn't have all the right options. They just didn't play their cards the right way.
It's hard to do, man. Look at the flippers. It's the same thing. It's hard to do. It like literally you're like sometimes 1 or 2 phone calls away between a second round out and a championship. The margins get really, really slim up there at the top, man.
I get it.
And I'm going to shoot them a little bit of bail. I'm not a Philly fan by any means, but I'm going to shoot them a little bit of bail because I feel like they are really, really close. They could make 1 or 2 decisions this offseason, and next year the narrative is completely different.
I don't know, man. I feel like, and we were spending way too much time on this, but I feel like they're better than the Nuggets talent-wise.
Well, they're better already they're better than they already were a week ago because they fired Doc Rivers. So.
All right.
All right. So, with that being said, and shout out to Tatum, man. He went nuts in Game 7. Had 51.
Duke, man, he went to Duke. What do you expect?
So got him over the hump, and now they're back to playing the Heat. Last year, they beat the Heat in 7. The game's already happened tonight. They lost tonight. Yep. But moving forward, do we see this going 7, or how does this thing play out?
It's going to be a hell of a series. The Heat find ways to manufacture a guy every game. It seems that is going to drop 20 something on you. Like you know what Jimmy's going to be, but then Max can step up, Martin can step up. If Bam decides to be Bam and not Idris. Breeze always talks about Spo. To me, that's always going to be the ace in the hole, right? At the end of the day, they always got Spo. Spo's going to figure something out. He always does to make the Heat. Honestly, it seems to make the Heat better than what they really are on paper.
Yeah.
Right? You look at that team, it's like, oh yeah, this team can go to the NBA Finals. No, it can't.
Real quick, if you plug
Wrong.
if you plug Spo
Wrong.
if you plug Spo on the Sixers, do you think they get over that hump?
Win a championship.
They at least get to a conference finals.
That says a
with Spo.
lot. That says a lot.
Come on, man. It's Doc Rivers.
Breeze, what you
Here we
think?
go. You keep poking the bear.
I mean, come on.
You're doing it on purpose.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah, so the Heat, I'm going to say, I said it before we started recording. I'm going to say it again for the show. I feel like this Heat team is one of those 90s teams where you look back in 20 years and you're like, wait, they were doing what? Right? Like, you look at who they played against. Joel Embiid is an MVP. James Harden is probably going to be a Hall of Famer. Embiid's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. Doc is for sure going in the Hall of Fame. So 20 years from now, we'll look back and say, oh, they had a Hall of Fame coach, 2 Hall of Fame players, and the MVP that year, and they didn't get to the conference finals. Or, Giannis is a generational talent by many people's standards. And you're like, wait, and they were, they didn't get to the finals that year, right? And it's like, who did? Oh, Jimmy Butler and Max Strus. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be one of those teams where we look back in 20 years, and if you weren't there, you don't get it. To me, I made the comparison. It's like that Phoenix Suns team with Barkley and Dan Marley that went to the finals and lost to MJ. That Pacers team that all could push the Bulls to 6, and when MJ went to play baseball, they're going, blow for blow with Patrick Ewing and that Knicks team. Where you look at it, you're like, who? Reggie Miller and who?
Dale Davis.
And Dale Davis.
Rick Smits.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you look back on that roster now and you're like, who? Whomst?
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense. But when you watch it, like, now we are privileged. To me, I appreciate what the Heat are doing more than anybody else that's left. Like, they don't have the quote-unquote top-level talent.
It's real basketball.
They don't have the stars. It is literally guys giving their absolute best every single night, centered around a nucleus who's a great leader and a great player. We might look back in 20 years and, you guys as children are like, Jimmy Butler was what? He played with Steph and KD and LeBron and Giannis, and who was doing what? Jimmy who?
Buckets.
And you'll have to explain to them how crazy it was what Jimmy was doing.
Right.
And I think we are privileged to be in a moment to see it happening, man. Shout out to the Heat. They take game 1 in Boston. Not surprising. They could win this series. I think whoever wins the West wins it all. But the Heat can very much win this series, man, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. My head says Boston, but my heart says the Heat. Strictly because of what you guys said. Spo and Jimmy, it's just different this time of year with them. And they know how to handle the moment a lot better than Boston. And Jimmy just turns into a different breed, and they're winning, starting with defense, because the heart and soul of that team is Jimmy, and he's gonna do it on both ends. And like you said, a bunch of random guys know how to play well together, and the glue that keeps them together is Spo. But I'm not gonna count Boston out because they've got 2 legit young superstars that's been knocking on the door for years. They went to the finals, the Eastern Conference final last year and lost. They've been in this position plenty of years, even though they're in their early 20s. They're really talented in that backcourt, and they got the 6th man of the year in Brogdon, who could drop 20 on any night, and Derek White and Smart. So they got guys. It's going to be an entertaining series, but I still think it comes down to Spo. Spo is going to outcoach the Celtics coach. I can't get his name right now, but he's really inexperienced in these moments. But
Magula,
Wow.
Whoever he is,
Gorilla.
Wow. I knew you were about to do that too. That's incredible.
But Spo's been here, and it's just a chess match with Spo, and I think he's going to out scheme that rookie coach over at Boston. So I got Boston in 7.
Okay.
Wait. You said all that, and you said you got Boston in 7?
I got Boston in 7.
You said he's going to out-scheme him, and then you said Spo's going to out-scheme
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mazzulla.
I'm sorry. Heat.
Oh, okay.
Heat.
I just want to make sure, like.
I mean,
Spo's going to out-scheme him.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to coaching.
I think I got the Heat too. Giving me the Heat in 7 as well. And I think one of the things I'm looking at is the inconsistency of the stars of Boston. I know a couple of years ago, I came on this very show and I questioned how far can Boston get because Jaylen Brown was inconsistent. We've kind of seen that from Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
You look back at the Philly series, he goes for 39 the first game. He goes for 7 the next game. You do that against Jimmy,
Yeah.
he will bury you. You can't do that against Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy and Bam. You can't do that against them. And now Bam doesn't have to work as hard defending a Joel Embiid. Because who is he worried about? Robert Williams? No. Is he worried about the first Dominican basketball player to win like 2 national championships and Al Horford? No. So now Bam gets to roam and help and dominate the paint, give kind of what we've been seeing from Anthony Davis on the other side. So, yeah, man, that inconsistency of the stars I think is going to be a problem for Boston, and Miami is going to pounce on that because they're going to get the most out of everybody on that roster every single night.
I think that's the beauty of Miami. They don't depend on a collection of stars to quote unquote do their job. Right. Like Boston depends on Jason Tatum to go out there and be the superstar of that team and score points. Right. Then you want to have Brown come in and be that second man. Where it seems like on the Miami Heat, it's like, no, just do your job. Duncan Robinson, hit open shots. Caleb, hit open shots. Bam, get down low, do what you do. Max Strus, if you're in the corner, hit an open shot. That's your job.
Fall on the ground.
Right. Fall on the ground, right? That's just their job. They go out there every time and just do their job consistently, and they're not required to go out there and drop 20 a game.
And it also helps that your star is low maintenance. He's not one of those guys that, hey, I need to get my 30 tonight, or I need to get this. Whatever the game requires is what Jimmy's going to get.
And that's what it helps. When you see Jason Tatum score 7, well, how many rebounds and assists did he have?
Not that many.
So if Jimmy scores 16, he's probably
crashing the
had
board.
12 boards, 8 assists.
And he's locking somebody up.
And he's locking somebody else. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, 6.
Heat in 6. I got Heat in 7. Breeze, you got Heat in
7.
7. All right. Out west, the Joker, who many think should have won the MVP this year. I know how you feel about that, Pump. And also many think they're. You had Embiid? Mm-hmm. You were off air. You were championing the Joker.
Oh, I can understand why he had a very valid argument to win.
Okay. Many people believe this is the number 1 team in the West, the Nuggets. They're facing the Los Angeles Lakers, the 7 seed, had to go through the play-in as well as the Heat to get to this point. And the Lakers lost last night. Heck of a game. Didn't go so well early on, but in that second half, Darvin Ham made some adjustments, and the game got a lot closer towards the end of the game. Game ended up being 126-132. The Nuggets took game 1. Anthony Davis did what he had to do, and I think it was either you or Clint said we can't waste a Anthony Davis game.
That wasn't me.
It was Clint. What do we see in game 2, and what do we see moving forward in this series?
Me? You want me to go first? Yeah, I think you see a much more focused Lakers team. Lakers look bad for at least a quarter and a half to start that game.
Yeah.
At least a quarter and a half. And still when in the down half, they were down at halftime, I think like 15. The energy wasn't there. I was having this conversation earlier. They were talking about how many rebounds the Joker had. I'm a firm believer that rebounding is mostly about effort and want to. Like Dennis Rodman was never the most athletic. He wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the strongest. He just wanted it more than the other guys more times than not.
And he knew how he was going to bounce off the rim.
I mean, yeah, you can do some of that stuff, but again, it takes effort and energy to move yourself over there, to fight through guys to get where the ball's going.
Right.
Shaq, when he wanted to, could go snatch 15 boards easy. He just didn't care to. We've talked about that many times. Mm-hmm. Rebounding is about want to and energy, and I thought the Lakers came out really, really flat. I also think we came out with a horrible game plan of playing small again. You just put Dennis Schroeder into the starting lineup to beat Golden State, who plays small ball. Denver's the opposite. They've got 3 guys on their starting roster that are 6'9" or bigger. Their starting point guard is 6'5". So why are we starting Dennis Schroeder? Why are we starting 3 guards? Michael Porter Jr. was literally shooting over people. Like, they're literally on the boards. We all know Bron early in games is not finna be attacking the boards. This is not where he's at age 38. So you need to give him other guys who can compete on the boards at least. Make it a little bit difficult. We got killed on the boards earlier. So I think you'll see a Lakers team that comes out with much better energy. I think you'll see a Lakers team that comes out more strategically ready to compete against a Nuggets team by putting more size on the floor. Vando either goes back in the starting lineup or Rui goes into the starting lineup. One of the two. One of those two guys got to go back in the starting lineup. And I think you'll see – I'm still standing on my Lakers in 6 pick. I don't know if I've said it on air yet. I'm standing on Lakers in 6. I didn't see anything in that game that made me move off of it. I saw kind of what I thought I would see. The Lakers, when they wanted to score, they got whatever they wanted. 80 went for 40. Yeah, Joker had, went for 31. I mean, no, Joker went for 34 and he had 21 boards. 80 went for 40. He started off 2 for 9. He still went for a 40 ball. He got whatever he wanted. LeBron, when he wanted to get to the rim, literally it was a layup line. I don't think that changes for Denver. Denver has not had a rim protector all year. They're going to find one tomorrow.
And I don't like the narrative that everybody's putting out there on the internet that AD just got outplayed. He dropped 40 on his head. So they canceled each other out. Nobody was playing defense.
I had somebody tell me he was getting dominated.
Stop it.
He was getting
How you get dominated and drop 40?
They said, oh, Joker's dominating AD. I said they got the same
So
number.
is AD. I
said they got the same number of points. So then he sent me the full stats, the rebounds and assists. We've never said, man, that dude got 20 assists. He was dominating. You don't dominate by passing the ball.
Right.
Now, if you want to say he's killing him on the boards, then fine. He was killing him on rebounds. AD finished with 10. Jokic finished with 21. But saying he was dominating him and he had a 40 ball? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
I get all that. When I was watching that game, and I think to your point when we were talking about Embiid and Joker, assists was one of those things that I did talk about, like how much you actually affect the game, not just points.
Yeah.
Right. Your assists matter. So he finished with 14 assists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the way the Nuggets still utilize a big man that can do whatever he wants inside, whatever he wants outside. And in that pick and roll game, when they did a high pick and roll, it was like, you guys not see this coming? Like, they keep doing the same thing. Now, the only thing that I don't see happening is how hot they were from 3. It's almost like watching that, I think, game 2, Lakers-Warriors. Klay couldn't miss. Jordan Poole couldn't miss. And for the rest of the series, they were missing. So KCP was hitting open threes. Michael Porter Jr., his step-back 3 game was nuts. Joker was hitting open threes. Jamal Murray, I think, to close out that first half, couldn't miss.
Yeah.
Right. He was just throwing up everything and it was just dropping, which we've seen him be able to do that. Right. I think during the bubble he was doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know it's there, but then again, it's like, well, can he do it consistently? I know that Jokic can do this consistently.
Yeah.
That's not surprising. Right. Again, this is what he does. Can the other guys do that same thing? So the Nuggets didn't waste, I guess to what Clint was saying, the Nuggets didn't waste the Jokic game because this is what he does all the time. I don't think that have you guys seen yet in this playoffs where AD is just dropping, 30 plus every game.
He's capable, but I haven't seen him drop 30 plus in back-to-back games. I haven't seen that thus far in the playoffs.
So I kind of want to ask you, and I know you guys are very confident, Breeze, you're high on your Lakers, but to me, that's almost like the equivalent of what we used to call the Jimmy game. Don't waste that 40-point Jimmy game. Like, the Heat would have to have that game now. Clearly, the Lakers have way more talent to make up, for blowing the Jimmy game. But when you get that from AD, and it's like, man, are you going to get that again from him? And when are you going to get it again?
All right, so I feel very strongly about this.
Okay.
So if you don't mind,
Go ahead.
I'm going to go right on this. So I want to make sure I got them all in front of me, right? 17 and 20, 23 and 9, 23 and 15, 25 and 13, 11 and 7, 30 and 23, 16 and 14, 31 and 19, 12 and 11, 31 and 17, 13 and 9, 22 and 12.
It's up and down.
In the Memphis series, he had 2 games where he scored. He had 16 and 14 in the closeout game. He only played 28 minutes. Other than that, he had 2 games where he didn't score a whole lot. Other than that, 22, 31, and 31. Last series, 30, 25, 23, 23, and in the closeout game, he had 17 and 20 boards.
Didn't have to play that much.
I don't like the narrative that, oh, well, every other night Anthony Davis shows up. It's not true. Statistically, it's not true. Now, is he going for 40? Well, no. He's not going to go for 40. Is anybody really going for 40 every night? No. Jokic is going to get buckets. He'll score, but is he going for 35 every night? I don't think so.
My thing is how effective is a 23, 10, and 5 night? Is because AD could sleepwalk and get those numbers. It's just how effective it is. That's what I'm looking at.
I'm actually going off what he just said. It's not about Joker. Is KCP going to shoot like that next game?
No.
Is Michael Porter running to his left and shooting corner threes like that next game? Are they hitting Hail Mary throw-up shots where LeBron James has to give Jamal Murray the thumbs up because he just hit a ridiculous shot? Are they hitting that every night?
Yeah. And Bruce Brown ain't getting 16 every series.
Let's be honest about this game. They won by 6.
Yeah.
They're a LeBron hero 3 away from losing a great...
I'm with you. This was their ceiling game.
And that's what I'm looking at in this series. I don't think Denver can play better than that. That is their ceiling. Everybody played at or above their average. You're not going to get that every night. Can you say the same thing? Did LeBron play at or above his average? I don't think LeBron had a great game.
No.
I think so. To me, the converse is not blowing a LeBron game. Because last series, game 2, Bron went off and we lost it. And Bron didn't go off for that type of point scoring again in that series. He had one other game where he scored 30 in the Warriors series. So the Bron game is the one I'm worried about wasting. Because Anthony Davis, even if he goes for 16, he gonna give me 20 boards. Right? Like we just said about Jason Tatum. Well, he had 7 points. Well, how many boards did he have? Well, he only had 8.
Right.
Anthony Davis, he maybe in a game he goes for 15 points. But he give me 20 boards. I live with that.
The only thing
he's affecting positively the game. So Anthony Davis is going to positively affect the game in some form or fashion. So he went for 40 last game. Yeah, he might not go for 40 again, but is he going to give me twice as many rebounds? Possibly. I expect the Lakers to win next game.
Yeah, me too. The only thing with AD, I expect him to be engaged. Like I'm not asking for another 30+ game. I know that's not him. He doesn't do that often, but he can. But I just want him to be engaged. Whether it's shot blocking, he could block the Joker. He could protect the rim. He could grab rebounds. My thing is, and I've said it all playoff, the role players.
Yeah.
D'Lo can't give me 6 points. Like whenever D'Lo scores 15 or more, we win. So I need better effort from D'Lo on both ends. Bruce Brown was just taking him off the dribble whenever he wanted.
Oh, he was horrible defensively.
So you airball the mid range. Like, come on, like you're not engaged.
It was a 3.
No, I'll send you the clip.
It was a midi too.
It was a midi. He faded away and airballed it.
And I guess in a way that's what I mean by wasting an Anthony Davis game. And it's not the fact that you guys don't need him to drop 40 a game.
No,
right? It's obviously not what you need. But when you get that, you do need Bron to play a little bit better than what he played, or have D'Lo play a little bit better than what he's doing, because you see this guy is carrying you. Okay, what do we need to do now?
Right.
That's all it is.
Oh, okay. I took that the wrong way.
No, yeah, because again, you got that Jokic game, but I think I sent you guys a stat about anytime Jokic gets a triple-double, the Nuggets win 80% of those games. Like, it's the highest percentage in NBA history of a player that gets a triple-double. So how does it affect your team? So the fact that he got 21 boards and 30 points, he does that in his sleep. But again, the 14 assists are a minimum of 28 points that you added to your team. Their pick and roll, their high pick and roll game was nuts last night. So again, are they going to continue to do that for a 7-game stretch? I don't know. But KCP did what he needed to do. Bruce Brown did what he needed to do. And D'Lo and the rest of those guys did not do that for Anthony Davis. Right. That's why I'm saying you wasted that Jimmy game.
I see. From that perspective, I understand it. Me personally, D'Lo to me is like the Michael Porter Juniors. If they could do it every night, they'd be stars. There's a reason he's not a star. There's a reason he's a role player. He's a support piece. Because they just can't. Those guys, for whatever reason, they can't do it every night.
But the thing is, you mentioned something real key. Just give me the effort. Maximum effort.
It was all horrible.
It affects the game.
It was all bad.
Because LeBron was a 3 away from tying the game up. Imagine if we gave maximum effort start to finish.
I mean, and I agree with that. LeBron was also 0 for 4 from 3. And that was a bad 3.
Terrible shot.
It wasn't in rhythm.
Are the minutes mattering for y'all at all?
The minutes?
Yeah, like I think they showed a stat about I think LeBron is putting up 38 a game.
38 minutes?
A game, yeah. So far through the playoffs, I think AD is around 34, 35. Like, again, I know LeBron is genetic marvel, but that's a lot of minutes at 38.
Nah, I'm not worried about it because if you watch LeBron ain't actively playing all the minutes. I hate to be that guy.
Nah, he's out there watching.
Bro, like go back and watch. There was a possession earlier in that game where the Nuggets got 4 consecutive offensive rebounds. LeBron was standing there the whole time.
Yeah, he
didn't leave his feet once.
He's conserving energy out there.
Conserves energies from when he needs to take over games, and he can do that. Again, that's part of that learning how to win in the playoffs. Yeah, so he played last night 40 minutes. I'm gonna say he actively played 28.
Fair enough.
All right, so let's get the keys to victory. For me, let the Joker do what he does. Give me more energy. I need more from the role player. I know Hotch isn't going to lock him down. It was a great adjustment. Make those necessary adjustments and don't overthink it if you're Ham. But I need more energy from the starters and the role players. Make the Joker play defense. Make him play some defense. AD, I think
He's not. He's not going to play defense.
Mark Jackson mentioned it multiple times last night. Stop double teaming the Joker. Just let them play one-on-one and go back and forth. They cancel each other out.
Statistically, you cannot just play him straight up. I don't care who you've got.
If you're AD, you're on the same talent level. I'm playing that one-on-one. Stop switching. Stop double teaming.
That's street ball stuff. I'm
You have to.
good on that. No, I'm good on that. To me, do what you did in the second half. We outplayed them by a mile in the second half. We made adjustments. We went bigger. That makes a huge difference. Yeah. Jamal Murray needs to see a bigger hand. Dennis is just too small. Let's just call it what it is. And I like what we did against the Joke in the second half. It was the fourth quarter, and it was like, I want to say like 8-9 minutes he didn't score. So what we did in the second half made sense. To me, that is the same thing of at the end of game 1, the Warriors, they realized that Steph needed to have his ball in his hands. Put Steph on ball. Instead of off ball, it came out with Steph on ball in game 2, and they blew us out. Right? They found something at the end of that game. They're like, okay, that works right now. I think the Lakers figured some things out later in that game, and that's how it ended up being a game. We almost won.
I think they'll make that switch, though. They'll take Aaron Gordon out and put a Jeff Green in that corner.
They're not pulling Aaron Gordon off because he's got to guard LeBron.
He can't guard LeBron, so let me chalk that up.
He's the best effort to guard LeBron. Otherwise, literally it gets ugly. Because LeBron's not going to settle for that 3. Next time, he's putting somebody in the rim.
But LeBron's already figured out that matchup, though. I'm just going to do a pick and roll action with Reeves.
Did y'all see the post game? I seen y'all the pictures, like Bron and AD, like Bron showed up with like a cup, with like a straw in it. Like and then Darvin Ham's like, oh, we're gonna be fine, we're okay. I have not seen them come out this subtly confident yet in this postseason. Either they're delusional or they know something.
It's not Steph.
Bron knows something. They saw something. Like you know how Bron is. He gives everybody respect. Last night, Bron looked real comfortable after a loss. And if he is the guy that we all like to think he is, I would be concerned if I'm a Denver fan or I play for the Nuggets.
I'm with you. I got Lakers in 6.
I'm just interested to see game 2.
Yeah, very much.
I mean, I want to see what happens. I want to see, again, I don't expect the Nugget shooters to have the same kind of game that they had.
Bonkers.
Right? It was just nuts, especially from 3-point. It was crazy.
Random stat. They shot 69% from the long 2. That is unreal.
Yeah.
A great night from long 2 is 40%. They shot 69% on long 2s.
Won't happen again.
That kind of tells you the night they had.
So again, the only thing to your point, I know you guys disagreed on that about double teaming Jokic. It's the fact that again he can sit there and he has point guard vision as a big man.
He does.
So if you want to double him, cool. That's now up to the other guys to hit those shots. Because last night they did it. Right. So, but if you want to gamble like that, but then how much you going to gamble? Because now, if you want to just leave him by himself, well, he's probably going to score. So to me, now it's going to come down to whoever these other role players are that's going to consistently now give you those games. You're going to get the Austin Reeves game. You're going to get the what's my guys XY Black Man the 4th.
Lonnie Walker.
Right, you're gonna get
Walker.
another Lonnie Walker
Lonnie
game.
Skywalker.
Are you gonna get those kind of games from those guys? To me, that's gonna make the difference. I feel like AD and Joker can cancel each other out. You can't cancel out Braun because they don't have another Braun on the Nuggets team.
Right.
So if Braun wants to be that guy and be Braun, if he's that confident, but Braun's been here before. He's done this for 20 years.
He's figured it out already.
Bro,
like Bree said, I think he's already figured out how to win this series. in his
You
head.
take out
I'm
the
sure he
old-
has, but the thing is, that's LeBron James has the IQ that's greater than probably any basketball player I've ever seen in my life. So he already has this figured out in his head. But I don't think those other guys do.
So
Can
no,
they
I-
execute it?
No, but
I execute it.
I think they do, and it's funny. I was listening to Draymond Green's podcast this week. I've never listened to it before, and he was talking about the Lakers series versus the Sacramento series, and he said he told his producer for his podcast during the Sacramento series after like game 3 or something like that. He's like, "Oh, we figured them out. We got it." And the dude was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "We figured them out. We know how we're going to beat them." He was like, "After that, I knew we were going to win that series." He's like, that point never came against the Lakers. He's like, he never got to the point where like, hey, we got them figured out. This is why we're going to beat them. I feel like LeBron has gotten to that point where he saw something he knows. He's like, oh, we figured it out. And I don't know if it's putting somebody else on Jokic and letting AD be the support piece, so I don't have to double. But when he makes that move into the paint, oh, here's AD on the help, which is Giannis has made his name as a defender, as a help defender.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert has made his name as a help defender. Jaren Jackson just won DPOY as a help defender. Anthony Davis now being a help defender
That's scary.
as opposed to being the on-ball defender with Jokic is a completely different
And
story.
he's longer where he could kind of block the lane for those passes because he could be coming backside and it's a harder three from the corner because you can't get it over there.
Or when Jokic, makes that spin move, which we know he's not athletic, he ain't getting no lift, and AD gets to just unimpeded, just jump straight up. That's a block, or it's a great contest, or it's a. I like to think that they have figured something and seen something. I didn't come out of that game like, man, I didn't expect this from the Nuggets. I don't know how we're gonna beat them.
Yeah.
I came out of it like, oh yeah, we should definitely beat this team in 6.
Before seeing game 2, I'll still stick with Nuggets in 6.
Okay.
All right. And Lakers in 6, Lakers in 6.
Yeah. Draymond Green said the same thing. Shout out to Draymond.
All right. This was the same bubble matchups, right?
All same 4 conference teams. Conference final teams.
So
from
is the
bubble.
argument of the bubble chip null and void at this point?
They're going to tell you that it's not because the rosters look so different, but the cores look the same. It's still LeBron and AD. It's still Jamal Murray and the Joke. It's still Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. It's still Idris and Jimmy. The cores are the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
You change the support pieces, but let's be honest, this is about the cores and the main guys. So, no, it was legitimate then. It's legitimate now. Stop the cap.
There it is. All right, let's take a break and we'll get into some NHL action. Or we won't take a break and we'll just dive right in. Don't warm it up. Just stick it right in.
I love this show, even though I don't. Hockey? Go ahead.
Let's do that hockey.
Like they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
There it is.
All right, so with the Edmonton Oilers loss on Sunday, the drought continues for Canadian teams. No Canadian team has won a Stanley Cup since 1993.
Good.
What does this mean for Canada?
Oh, Canada.
They still think that they're the gods of hockey. I don't think it's going to change.
That is their claim to fame to the world.
Can you still stick your nose up at the fact that
Oh,
you
they do.
started hockey and you haven't won the chip since 93?
You haven't met a Habs fan ever.
Black
I'll
people
tell.
also started hockey. I'll send you that link later.
I mean, we started a lot of things that
It's fine.
the others claim. Oh, cut that.
Nope. Not cutting it. Not cutting it.
It means nothing. I mean, I think we talked about the Edmonton series, and shout out to whoever said it's not like Jordan and Pippen. Okay, cool. Name another team that didn't have 2 elite players that won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah. And
So-
I mean like elite.
Elite. And you have the greatest player in hockey, hands down, and somebody who is essentially like his sidekick. The man scored 4 goals in a game. Draisaitl is really, really good.
He's really
So
good.
again, you had Kane and Taves, you had Stammer and Cooch. You have a collection of talent, which is my point, and they're being wasted.
They've been together for a few years now.
Buddy, whoever you are, sir,
I'll at him.
This for the TikTok.
Anyway,
All right, so Vegas is moving on to play the Dallas Stars on Friday. How do we see this series shaking out? Flipping a coin?
Flip a coin.
what's the coin say? It doesn't matter what the coin says.
I feel like you dunked on me.
My
I feel
bad.
like you dunked on me.
My bad, cousin. My bad.
That's fine.
It really doesn't matter. Again, you know I don't believe in the Golden Knights. They'll get there and they'll stink up the joint like they've done before. They're underachievers. But they've overachieved
But
as
you're picking the Golden Knights to win the West.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got Vegas winning the West.
And then they're gonna promptly lose to whoever comes out of the East.
Whoever wins the East wins it all.
Yep.
And I got the Hurricanes winning the East.
I got the Canes.
Jumping the gun, sorry.
I'm sorry.
That was hockey.
Can we take a moment to appreciate the fact that the Panthers are an eighth seed?
That's pretty cool.
Like, it was tight. Like the race to get that spot was a really difficult race, and it was not guaranteed that the Panthers were even going to make the playoffs. They were 42-32
Yeah.
in the regular season. They lost almost just as much as they won.
So were these like the two most unlikely team to make it?
No,
final?
because Hurricanes, like the Hurricanes are good. They were 52-21.
Okay.
The Hurricanes were a pretty good team. We talked about it. The Hurricanes have been building. They've been building to be a postseason winning team. The depth, the top level talent, getting the most out of your goalie, the veteran leadership. They've been building to this. They weren't chasing after the President's Trophy. They were chasing to go deep into the playoffs. In my opinion, chasing the Lightning. And I think that, now that the Lightning, the Mapes did the East a favor and got rid of the bully. And now it's any man's game. And I think the Hurricanes are better fit to do it. But it would be really cool to see the Panthers go. I mean, hockey's fun in Sunrise, Florida.
It is. The Panthers with what, 92? When they had Van Beesbrook at goalie.
You asking me that?
Yeah, they used to throw like rats onto the ice.
They still do the rats thing.
Actual rats?
No,
No,
they
like-
don't do live rats like that.
Oh.
Come on, man.
I mean,
They do the squids.
They-
Yeah,
yeah, still the
okay.
octopus up
Still do
in
the
Detroit.
And they
octopi.
killed a bat in Buffalo.
They killed that bat in Buffalo.